So whereas on the south facade you're worried about the altitude of the sun, on the east and west facade you're worried about the azimuth. So as you can see from the east facade here, the sun is at a low angle, and it's also coming towards the facade at an angle as well. So if you can think about it, if you have horizontal shading covering those windows, which we can draw in. Let's say this is the front door. We've got some windows. Let's say since this is the south facade, put a nice big window there. So you can see that the sun is at a low angle and it's coming in at an angle this way as well. So if you have these horizontal blinds here, the sun is just going to shoot right through. So when you're on the east and west facades, what you want to do is have these vertical sun shading devices so that the sun can bounce off of that shading device and bring this indirect lighting into the space. And then on the south facade, you can see, since the sun is at a higher angle, we'll break this in half. So let's say we bring these vertical louvers in over here. So this sun is at an angle here, and it's just going to go right through because it's at a higher angle and it's straight on. So it's just going to go right through those louvers. So that's why the south facade, you want to have the horizontal louvers so that it can bounce off and bring that indirect lighting into the building. Now when you're in the summer, you can see I drew a little bit of an overhang here, and that's because in the summer you want to shade the building. So we can see in section. So this is our little house in section. So we've got our winter sun here, which we want to get through the building, and then we have our summer sun here, which is going to put our building in shade. And this is because in the winter it's cold, so you want the sun to warm the building, but in the summer it's really hot, so you want to do everything you can to shade your building from the sun. So using overhangs as well as these horizontal louvers is a good way to both cool your building and bring in that indirect lighting. Another thing to consider is, what if you didn't have the advantage of placing your building in the optimal positioning? What if you're working with an existing building or specific site conditions don't allow you to have your building in the best position? So what if your facade of your building faced like this, so that it's facing the southeast? So here what you have to worry about is two things. You have the movement of the sun, which is bringing in the sun at all different angles. When it's facing the facade straight on, you can shade the building by having those horizontal louvers, but then once you get into when it's coming at an angle this way, you run into the issue like we had over here, where it can just go right through those horizontal louvers, so you have to accommodate by having the verticals again. So the way to accommodate for these conditions when you're trying to shade your building and bring in that softer indirect light is you have what they call an Eggcrate, which is a combination of horizontal and vertical louvers. And so this would occur on the southeast and the southwest facades. And again, if you are in the southern hemisphere, that would occur on the northeast and northwest facades. So just to recap, when thinking about the south facade, what you want to consider is the sun's altitude and how high the sun is in the sky. So you would use the horizontal louvers. And when thinking about the east and west facades, what you want to consider is the sun's azimuth and where it is in relation to north, south, east, and west, and its horizontal positioning in the sky. So therefore you would want to use the vertical louvers. And lastly, when your facade is facing the southeast or southwest facades, that's when you want to bring in those egg crates, because you have to consider both the azimuth and the altitude in those situations. So your best option for shading your building on the southeast or southwest facades, the egg crate is the best solution.